all, it's Andrew Dunlap here to give you the biggest names in Muskie sports. This week, we talk to Griffin Degener, starting quarterback for the men's football team, as he talks about what goes into switching different positions to help the team. Hello all, once again, thank you for tuning in. I'm Andrew Dunlap, along with this week's guest, starting quarterback for the men's football team, Griffin Degener. All right, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So Griffin, let's talk a little bit about your high school years.
Mm-hmm.
When you were playing quarterback during that time, weren't you not?
Yes. For 2 years I was the backup, and then my last 2 years in high school I was the starter.
So you worked your way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You compete. I assume you're would you say you're in a small school? I got. When I looked up where you were from, you were like up in the looked like you were up in the Cleveland, Akron area.
Yeah, it's from Northeast Ohio, really remote kind of area. I had a graduating class of 35 kids. It was a pretty small school. I mean, we were D6 at the time, and when I left, we dropped to 7.
Did you have to compete against a lot of big schools out there?
We scrimmaged a couple big schools like Menor that are out there, but for the most part in the regular game, like regular season, we only played other D6 schools and one D4 school.
Now, how would you describe your high school career?
We were pretty successful in high school. We were a very small team, and we came out and won a lot more games than everybody expected us to. We had 2 undefeated seasons in a row, went to the playoffs 2 years in a row, and we had a very good high school career. It was a lot of fun, and we did a lot of good things.
And then, as soon as you come to Muskingum University,
Mm-hmm.
you were instead of playing quarterback, you were thrown into the wide receiver position. How was the experience the last several years playing wide receiver?
I actually only played receiver last year. For the first 2 years, I was just JV and backup, and then last year, about halfway through, I wanted more playing time. Like, I asked the coach if I could, and we needed help on the receiving core, so I went out and started playing that, and it was a lot of fun. Definitely a different way of playing the game. I learned a few new skills, but for the most part, it was pretty fun.
It does seem like you learned a few new skills. I looked at you statistically from the last couple of years. You from time to time you were thrown into several running or passing plays as well,
Mm-hmm.
not just for your receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk a little bit about how you were implemented into that system?
I was put in as a slot receiver, and from that we drew up a couple plays that were kind of trick plays where I'd come in and we'd motion in, I'd get the ball and I'd set up and throw downfield or something along those lines, or I'd just take it out and just run like a sweep play.
When would you know when Coach Logan would want that play out of you?
They'd just call it in. I'd be in the game and they call it in, or if we didn't have the personnel in at the time, we'd call in the personnel where I would come in and we'd call the play that would have us do that.
Okay, but running all these plays, do you feel like it was really beneficial for your offensive game?
I feel like it was. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. We against Wilmington last year on that specific play where I came in, got a handoff, and then threw the ball downfield. We actually scored a touchdown, so it helps out. And playing receiver actually helped me out a lot more, understanding and getting to know our offense a lot better.
Okay. Now we dive a little bit into your quarterback position. Like, what were some of the biggest changes from this year that you went from wide receiver to quarterback?
It's a lot more responsibility at my position now. At receiver, I'm only really responsible for one thing, knowing what I'm doing and going and doing it. Now I have to make sure that everything's kind of in place, and I got to know exactly what I'm doing. I got to know what everyone's doing, and we got to be able to execute.
Since you just told us earlier how you were have some experience playing quarterback before, was there a little bit of a rust coming back into?
Yeah, when I came back in last year at spring ball to play quarterback, there's definitely some rust on me, but through the spring and then through camp this year, I was able to work it off, and so far I've been doing pretty well.
Okay, so when you were given this position, were you told, Griffin, we need you to switch positions, or did you go up to him voluntarily and say you wanted to be at the quarterback?
No, they told me that we needed to switch. That I need to switch back. They asked me to switch back, and I was more than willing and happy to take on the position.
And I assume the wide receivers like Damon Jones and them were very helpful on helping you get back to your old comfort zone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those guys did a great job in helping me get back.
And then we look a little bit at your passing game. How would you describe what makes you a very effective passer? I mean, so far this season, you've completed 62% of your passes.
Mm-hmm. It's just really knowing where to go with the ball and what times to do it. I mean, it's not just we're running this route, so you got to throw it. You got to be able to read and react and know what the defense is doing and which guy's going to be open in that certain situation, and then trusting your guys to be there.
Okay. So you would say it's definitely been a tough overall a very solid season for you. You would say
we've been doing some good things. Definitely still have some stuff to work on, but for the most part, we're doing a pretty good job offensively.
Well, what is it to you personally? What is this season been like? It's probably been a crazy season for you.
It has been pretty crazy, but it's a good crazy. It's a lot different than it has been the past couple of years. It's a different environment and different feeling. There's just a bond here, and we're working with that, and it's getting us a lot farther.
Now, an interesting story about the team's program is it's not since 2011 has the football team won more than 3 games in the regular season. You have 3 games left this season. Mm-hmm. You think it's at all possible you can get 4 end the season at the very least 4-6?
Yes, I believe that's possible. I mean, we're going to do the best we can every game to come out. We're going to definitely try to get better than that. We're going to try to win every game we possibly can.
And it's also interesting how you find yourself in this situation. Last year, you were only able to get the team ended its season record with 1-9, mm-hmm. and now it finds itself in the middle of the pack in the OAC. So what do you think is the biggest contribution to that effort?
I think the environment of the team itself and the environment around campus. I mean, we set out this season to not only just try to win more games, do better things offensively and defensively on like each side of the ball, but we set out to try to change the environment. And I think that's really been something we've so far been able to accomplish, and it is changing right now. It's still going to, but I think that's something that really contributes to that.
I just got one more question to ask you. What is for you personally? You've talked about like how crazy the change was, but what overall this entire season, what has been the biggest challenge for you this year?
The biggest challenge, I would say, really just the biggest challenge. That's a good question. The biggest challenge for me would the biggest challenge is just going in and not letting up. Like never, it's really been just trying to keep things moving along, trying to, like when we're down, trying to stay up, get everybody to keep going up. Because, I mean, there are times in games, excuse me, when it's like things happen to you. And the biggest challenge, and not just for me, but I think as a team, the biggest challenge is when something bad happens is coming back from that. And that's any team, really. But it's the same. I mean, we just got to get over those. We do something and messes up and kind of throws us off a little bit, but we got to get past them and have short memories. I think the biggest challenge has been just that. And the games that we come in, that's a hard-fought struggle. Maybe we don't start off strong. Maybe we're not finishing strong, executing. It's just getting back on to where we can be. Getting back to, like, firing on all cylinders. I feel like that's the biggest challenge.
Oh, all right. That's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And to all you watching, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel or check us out on all of our social medias. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we're even on Snapchat. Or if you want to find out more about our local news, check out orbitmediaonline.com. And thanks for joining us.